Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Hamd al-Shakirin. Alhamdulillahi alladhi lam yazal hayyan qayyuman aliman qadiran sami'an basira. Wa afdalu salati wa akmalu taslimati ala man arsalahu Allahu shahidan wa mubashiran wa nadira. وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا نبينا وشفيعنا وحبيبنا وحبيب ربنا ومولانا وعوننا ومعيننا وغياثنا ومغيثنا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم عبده ورسوله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وكشف الأذهان وجلائها وعلى آله وأصحابه وأولياء أمته وعلماء ملته صلاة تبقى وتدوم بدوام الملك الحي القيوم. मोहतरम बुज़ुर्गों, अज़ीज़ नौजवानों, प्यारे प्यारे बच्चों, इज़्ज़त माब बहनों, अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. In the whole of my life, since my childhood up to a few days back, I have never experienced this type of situation. In the history of Islam, this situation has never been experienced. That azan from masajid to invite people for congregational prayer has ceased to be announced. In some masajid, the adhan is being announced, but not to invite people, as usually it was announced. Now adhan is announced, but not to invite people for a congregational prayer. It was only an information that the time for prayer has started. Those servants of Islam who are responsible to invite people to come and gather in masjid for congregational prayer, these servants of Islam by themselves are now asking people, what a painful situation, what a heartbreaking situation, that those who are responsible to invite people for the congregational prayer, now they themselves are asking people not to come and to say the 5-time prayers at home. From Masjid-e-Haram and Masjid-e-Nabawi to everywhere in the world, the doors of masajid have been closed upon the believers themselves. This is like closing the door, that the people are not being invited now. What you name this painful situation, I don't know what you call it, how you see this situation. What is your perception? I don't know. But my understanding is that this is a high time for a very sincere tawbah. This situation, this tells us that this is very high time for very sincere tawbah. Because the door, Allah has closed the door of His house upon the believers. So we must take this situation an alarming bell for us. What other things, that is their matter, but what we believers upon whom the doors have been closed, how they should take this situation. My perception is that we must make now a very sincere tawbah, so that the door of masajid may again be open to us. Because if the door of masajid are closed upon the believers, then what is left for us to seek a shelter from the calamities of this world and from the troubles of our life? What is left for us to seek a shelter if the doors of masajid are closed? So we must take this situation as an alarming bell and must make a very sincere tawbah. Don't you see that since a long time, we Muslim, with a very small exception, sorry to say, with a very small exception, the Muslims have divided into two types of group. One are those who visit masjid very rarely or on Friday only, or they do not visit at all. There are people who do not come to masjid at all. Then there is the other group who do come to masjid regularly. They do come, but they leave the whole family behind, engaged in worldly activities, watching television, reading magazines and newspapers, and playing, and in other activities. They leave the whole family behind without any feeling of sorrow, without any realization that it is their responsibility. If they are head of the family, it is their responsibility. If they are not head of the family, still it is their moral and religious responsibility to invite the family at least. Almighty Allah says, "Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnasi ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar." You are the best ummah. You have been raised to invite people, the whole world, to do good. You have been raised to invite people to the path of your Lord. You have been raised to invite the whole world, because no Nabi is now to come. The Holy Prophet ﷺ came as the last prophet. And now responsibility comes to the shoulder of Ummah. Kuntum khaira ummatin. Now you are the best Ummah because you have been given a responsibility. And now our situation is that we do not invite even our own family. We do come to masjid regularly, but we have no worry, no sorrow when we leave our family behind. It seems with a very painful heart it has to be admitted that it seems that the schools are And the colleges are boy homes, school are boy homes, colleges are young's homes, but masajid are old homes. Masajid are old homes. So now the doors have been closed. Even if you want to come, now the muezzin is not inviting you from the masjid for congregational prayer. Have to be the door of masajid have been closed, of course, upon the believers. But still the door of Tawbah is open. The door of Tawbah is not closed. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, this is in Muslim Sharif and other Hadith Mubarakah books of Hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Musa Ashari radiallahu ta'ala narrates this Hadith Mubarakah, that the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna Allah yabsutu yadahu bil layli liyatuba musi'un nahari wa yabsutu yadahu bin nahari liyatuba musi'ul layli hatta tatluwa ash-shamsu min maghribiha. The Prophet ﷺ said that Almighty Allah stretches His arms of mercy at night so that the sinners of the day may repent and make tawbah. And Almighty Allah stretches His arms of mercy in the morning so that the sinners of nights, they may come back and may make tawbah. The ends of mercy are always day and night, they are stretched. But hatta tatlu ash-shamsu min maghribiha. The Prophet ﷺ said this will continue until the sun rises from the west. From the west. But as soon as the sun rises from the west, this practice, this stretching of arms of mercy to invite people to make tawbah will cease. The door of tawbah will close. When the sun rises from the west, the door of tawbah will close. Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala also narrates a similar hadith. He says, Man taba qabla an tatluwa ash-shams min maghribiha taba Allahu alayh. Whoever makes tawbah before the sun rises from the west. Before the sun rises from the west. This is condition. So one who makes tawbah before the sun rises from the west, Almighty Allah accepts his tawbah. Whoever makes sincere tawbah. The condition is sincere, not a tawbah from our tongue only. It must come from the bottom of our heart. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna Allah la yanzuru ila ajsamikum, wala ila suwarikum, walakin yanzuru ila qulubikum. Allah doesn't consider your bodies, He doesn't consider your faces as well. Allah considers your heart. He sees your heart. So you have to come to Almighty Allah with your heart. And you have to make tawbah with your heart. The Prophet ﷺ said that Ud'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijabati. Pray to Almighty Allah with a conviction, with the firm belief that Almighty Allah responds to du'as. Ud'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijabati. Inna Allah la yastajibu du'a'an min qalbin ghafilin lahin. And the Prophet ﷺ said that Almighty Allah does not respond to the du'as of those whose heart is not attentive, whose heart is not present. Heart is ghafil. If the heart is ghafil, the dua is made only from tongue. Right? This type of dua Allah Almighty does not respond. So, come towards Almighty Allah with your heart. There are 4 conditions for a true and sincere tawbah. We must know before we die without an acceptable tawbah. What type of tawbah Almighty Allah accepts? We must know this. Must not die a death of ignorance. Doing something in the name of tawbah, which is not a actual or true tawbah in Islam. So Imam Raghib Rahmatullah alayh says that tawbah, at-tawbatu fi shar'i tarku zambi li qubhihi. Tawbah is in Islam ceasing the sin, ceasing the disobedience to Almighty Allah, ceasing it with the realization that this is a very bad thing. At-tawbatu fi shar'i tarku zambi li qubhihi wan-nadamu ala ma farata minhu. And the second condition, first condition is that you have to cease the sin. Have to cease committing sin. This is the first condition. وَالنَّدَمُ عَلَى مَا فَرَطَ مِنْهُ. This is the second condition, that you have to feel a very sincere shame upon whatever has passed. Whatever you have already done of that sin, you have to feel a very sincere shame in your heart. That how I took courage to do this, how I took courage to disobey Almighty Allah. Then, wal azimatu ala tarkil mu'awadati, and you must have a very firm decision in your heart that you will never repeat this. Tarkil mu'awada, a very firm decision that you will never repeat it. وَتَدَارُكُ مَا أَمْكَنَهُ مِنَ الْأَعْمَالِ أَنْ يُتَدَارَكَ. And then you have to compensate whatever it is possible to compensate. For example, whatever prayers you missed, you have to compensate, you have to revise them as qaza. You have to do them as qaza. This is compensation. Whatever zakat you have not paid, you have to calculate all the years and have to pay that. This is compensation. If you have taken some money from someone else, so you have to return it. If you have taken as loan, you have to return it. So in the same way, whatever it is possible to compensate, you have to compensate by action. This is the 4th condition of Tawbah. فَمَتَى إِجْتَمَعَتْ هَذِهِ الْأَرْبَعَةُ فَقَدْ كَمُلَتْ شَرَائِطُ التَّوْبَةِ. When these 4 things are put together, then this is called a true Tawbah. Now, a very nice opportunity is approaching to you in the shape of Shab-e-Barat. A very nice occasion for making Tawbah, because the tide of mercy is very high in that night. Allah's mercy is in very high tide on this night. Because there are occasions, just as there are some certain season for raining, season for different crops, This is in the same way there is some special timing, some special season for Allah's mercy, for the shower of mercy, in which Almighty Allah showers a great amount of mercy. Just as Laylatul Qadri khayrum min alfi shahr. Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. And the Qadrul Khairiyya lam yubayyan Qadrul Khairiyyati. And how much better it is has not been mentioned. So immensely better. So in the same way, Shab-e Barat is also one of such nights in which the tide of Allah's mercy is on very high. Tide is very high. So this is a very nice opportunity. But I don't say to you that as usual gather in masajid in big number. When you do not come for the 5-time congregational prayer, which is near to wajib. This gathering for nafil at the night of Shab-e Barat is not wajib. Nafil saying at home is preferable. All the nawafil and sunnah, it is preferable to say at home. So, when you do not come for first prayer, the congregation of which is near to wajib, when that has been postponed, so then what about the nafil? The congregation of 6 nafil. Do it at home very sincerely. Make a jamaat if possible at your home, of your family. A jamaat of family, husband, wife, children, a very nice jamaat of nafil. A very nice jamaat of nafil. Make it at home, do Yasin Sharif after every 2 rakat, and in this way do 6 nawafil, 2 by 2, by 2 rakat, and then after the last 2 rakats do a dua in your family, and most preferably do a very sincere tawbah at this night, so that the door of masajid may be open. How a Muslim we can expect from a Muslim that he will feel at ease when the doors of masjid are closed upon him? What type of a Muslim he is who is worried about the door of his shop, that when my shop will open? What type of a Muslim he is who is waiting for the opening of the door of his office impatiently? What type of Muslim he is who is waiting impatiently for the opening of the door of supermarkets, shopping malls? And he has no worry about the doors of masjid. So at this night, most preferably and especially, make dua that, oh Allah, open the doors of your house widely again for Muslims. Because as long as the doors of masjid are closed, there is no place to seek shelter for us from the troubles of this world and from the calamities of this life. So my Muslim brothers, this night is approaching. On this night, very especially, more than you pray for your business or for your job or for your earnings, more than that, ask Almighty Allah, oh Allah, open the doors of your house from the Baitul Haram and Masjid Nabwi to everywhere in the world. Oh Allah, open the doors of your house upon us. We make a very sincere tawbah. Now we shall be very regular in prayer, and we as our family will be regular in our prayer. Our children will be attending the prayers, congregational prayer. Oh Allah, whatever has passed in the past time, we make a sincere tawbah. Oh my Lord, open the doors again widely of your house for us. This should be the very important your dua on the night on Shab-e Barat. May Allah enable us to seek Allah's mercy and His blessings on that night. May Allah make us worship nicely in such a way, and may Allah make us make tawbah in such a way that the doors of Allah's mercy and the doors of Allah's house may again open for us widely. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.